Okay, photography, we are going to learn how to get our film out of the canister safely and onto the reel. Now, everything that I am showing you here must be done in darkness, okay? This must be done in darkness, okay? I have my double bag here. It's a double zippered bag, so it's light tight that your arms will fit into, and all of your equipment will go inside the bag. Now, the equipment that you need a canister. You should have a base and then a funnel lid. You need a tool kit, which will have scissors and a can opener. You need a spool. You need a reel. And you need your rewound film. And again, all of this has to take place in the black bag, okay? So I've done a video already, hopefully you have looked at, of how to use the can openers. This, honestly, is the biggest part that people struggle with, is actually getting their stinking film open, okay? Now, you see right here that there is this little nubbin that kind of pops up out of the film, okay? I think it's easier to use the opposite end, the flat end, okay? This is the end that I typically open. And again, this is just kind of a junk roll of film, okay? There's no pictures on this, so I'm not ruining anything, okay? And all of this would be done in the light bag. So you're really gonna have to use your sense of touch, okay, because you're going to be doing this blind, and use your sense of touch. So again, we're going to engage that little metal part of our can opener with the edge of our film, okay, and you just kind of work your way around, okay. You're going to end up with this, and then we use the little push right here. I don't know what you would call it, just this little plastic spool, and you can start pushing it out and use your other supporting hand to take out your film. Now, your film will be tightly coiled. I would say it's a good idea to take off any jewelry, any bracelets, anything like that that might scratch your film. That would be a good idea. Also, if you have a smartwatch or a Fitbit, anything that would illuminate, I would definitely take that off as well, okay? Now, I'm going to set this aside for a minute just so we can pick up the reel here, okay? You can see there are two matching pieces right here. Always, always, always check your reel to make sure that they are a matching set. Now, could they be offset like this? Sure. But ultimately, they could slide back into place very easily. So we have those two big triangles, okay? Now, this is where your sense of touch comes into play again, too. So when you're feeling right here, you can see and feel that it is very teeny tiny, this little ledge, okay? We want to use the big side. That is where our film will get inserted, okay? Now, this little metal, or not metal, I guess it's plastic. This little plastic spool is attached to our film. We'll eventually cut that off, but don't worry about it for now, okay? Now, by our sense of touch, I find it's easier to get rid of this little part. Now, remember, we have a few shots that are in the beginning of our roll of film that really don't matter a whole lot, okay? So I normally cut that part off. And then again, with my sense of touch, I almost create a little bit of a 45-degree angle. And I try to cut in between my little sprockets here. Okay. And I give myself a little bit of an angled edge. I find that it's a lot easier to guide the film in. Okay. So I am right-handed. Normally I use my right hand to hold my film and my left hand to hold the reel, okay? And what I am going to do is I am going to feed this film in between those two little guides, and you see these ball bearings in here, okay? I'm going to feed that film in, and I'm taking it past the ball bearings. So I've fed the film quite a bit around, okay? And at this point is when you start to shimmy. Okay, I'm putting a little bit of inward pressure on the reel as I'm doing this. And if you have a roll of 36, it feels like it takes forever. Okay, so I'm shimmying this up. You can see that it's getting shorter. So if it starts to curl a little bit, you're welcome to just carefully kind of push it back into place. If this becomes bothersome to you, having just this little bit of a tail left, go ahead and unfold it with your hands. Okay, and you see that this is attached to this little plastic spool. We're just going to cut that off. Okay, so this would end up in the trash. Okay, but you can use your sense of touch and you can feel maybe it's popping out a little bit. Okay, towards the end it gets a little bit challenging and you might have to put it in place just a little bit with your fingers. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now I've got my film on the reel. Now, what happens if I have a mistake and it's like, oh, all this film, what am I going to do? It's not going on the reel. I cannot get it to feed forward anymore. Okay, if that happens, 1, try putting a little bit of pressure. Okay, 2, you might feel, do I have a matching reel? It's not going to feed onto the reel if it is not a matching set. Okay, 3, you can kind of feel where the flat part is of these triangles. You might have to take it off the reel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this side stationary and I'm going to take this side, the left side, and pull it towards me. Okay, and you might feel like you're forcing it. It might feel like you're going to break it or something, but you're not. It will take a little force. And then we pull these 2 pieces apart. Now I've said find a matching set a few times. This is the point where people get the pieces mixed up, okay? We want to put it back together as a matching set, just like this. So my triangles are together. Sometimes people are putting it all different crazy ways, and that's how it ends up being kind of mismatched, okay? So you could just take it off the reel and start again. Now, another thing that I have found is for some reason, you know, you've tried over and over again, it's just not happening. You know, the end that was actually connected here to this plastic spool, I might tell you if you're struggling, hey, take your film off the reel and try feeding the opposite end of your film. Now, I'm not being very cautious and careful right now with my film because I have no pictures on this. I really don't care, but you're going to want to try to be careful and cautious handling your film so that you're not getting scratches all over it. You don't want to manhandle it, okay? So here I am with the opposite end. I'm pulling it past the sprockets, okay? And then I would do my shimmy again. This is going to take quite a bit of practice. I'm going to have you guys practice sighted and then in the bag. So now my film is all the way on. You can see that it is equally spaced out through here. That's going to allow the chemical to kind of evenly distribute over the top. Okay. Now, technically, if you had 2 rolls of film, you could develop 2 rolls at the same time. You would just bring both rolls of film in and then 2 of these reels. Okay. Now you need to put the reel on top of the spool and make sure it goes all the way down. Okay. So this side is going to be pointing up. Okay. This is going to create a light, tight area to engage with the funnel. Okay. This is how it will end up connecting. So if this is open to the light, which it will be, light is not going to actually be able to get to our film. It's just going to go on the inside of this spool. Okay, so we've got our film on our reel, on our spool. We're going to put it inside our canister and we are going to put our funnel on. Now, make sure that this clicks. okay, there are these little pieces on the edge of plastic that actually need to click into place here, or else your lid could fall off. Okay, so it actually needs to click. And if you're unsure, if in doubt, shake it out. Okay, again, this is done in your black bag, but if you're not sure if it actually clicked over, you can just hold it upside down, and as long as the lid stays on, you are certain that this has actually stayed engaged. Unfortunately, some people have not done this, or this has been screwed on crooked and they think it's on, and so they go to dump out their water or their chemical and the lid falls off, and guess what? Now your film has been exposed and you have to redo your whole entire photo shoot, redo the black bag, everything. So be smart, okay? If for some reason you don't have time to develop that day, I would ask that you would get some masking tape, okay, and put it across the top, okay? And I say across the top for a reason. You'll put your name in Sharpie here. I would say across the top because some people are just not that observant, and if you put it down here with your name on it, they might not see. Maybe it's sitting on the counter like this and they're like, oh, hey, there's an empty container. I'll just take that instead of actually walking all the way across the room to get one. They might take your container not knowing and then open it all up and bam, you know, you've exposed your film. Okay, so be very cautious and careful with that. Now we've got a lot of debris. Make sure that you get in your bag, your black bag, and get out all of the little pieces and things like that and throw them away. Okay, no one wants to find all of that junk inside the bag. And then make sure that you put away your toolkit. Okay?